Hi, this is Noah from REIZoom. This video is going to be about how to use AddressFixer Mark II. AddressFixer Mark II is one of those things that you don't know you need it until you need it. It's capable of interpreting addresses and correcting them and adding address components. So let's say you get a list from the county where you have the site addresses, but you don't have the city, state, or zip code, and you need that before you can send mail or skip trace. AddressFixer Mark II will be able to do something called a geocode and then a reverse geocode to take partial fragmented data and then fill in the gaps. So you can use it if you need, let's say, the zip codes on a list of addresses when you have the address, city, state. If you have only the address and the zip code and you need the city, state. If you have a bunch of driving for dollars leads that you wrote down with a pen and paper and it's missing prefixes and suffixes, like you might have written 123 Candy Lane, but you needed 123 Southeast Candy Lane, city, state, zip. So that's what it's capable of doing. So let's just get right to it. This is going to be the first list we run as an example. All we have here are the street addresses, but we need the city, state, and zip code on these addresses. If you need to get the owner's names and mailing information, check out ListBot, because that combining these two tools is very powerful. You can go from having just this to all the data you need. So this is what we're working with. We just have these addresses, and we know that these addresses are in Duluth, Georgia. That's all we know. But we don't want to put the columns here. We don't know the exact zip codes. So let's run it. So you start by going to the tools and then AddressFixer Mark II. You start by clicking Add a List, and this is the one we're going to use. That's the one we just looked at. You open it, there will be a preview. If there are more columns, they'll be here, but you can sort of see what the mapping is. And then what you have to do is assign the columns depending on how much data you have available. So we know we have the address column. We're just going to say, all right, we have the address column. That's the site, street. If you have more data, fill it in. But the thing with this is that it's context dependent. So you don't want to use columns that are going to lower your hit rate. Be as precise as you can. If you know they're all in one county, if you know they're all in one city, they're all in one zip code, dig down as much as possible, but don't dig down too deep. If you have addresses from all over the state, don't say that they're all in one city, state, zip, because that will mess you up. So just use as much as you can. And then we have the supplemental details, and this is where the little bit of that intelligence comes in. We know that all these are in Duluth, Georgia. We don't know the zip code, so I'm just going to tell it to use Duluth, Georgia as the supplemental details, and then it'll try to figure out, based on the address, Duluth, Georgia, exactly the rest of the details. So this system uses Geocode.io. It's a geocoding service. And so you have to use something called an API key. And an API key is essentially a little bit like a username and a password and a login for a system all at once. And programmers use these all the time. So what you have to do for this to work is go to geocode.io. That's the URL, geocode.io. And then get an API key. I'm going to assume that you've already gotten logged in. So go to your account. And then go to API keys. And then you'll see your API key here. You can copy that. I'm going to try to blur this out because this is sensitive information. You don't want to share this with anybody because it's like a username and password. And if you've got your credit card linked to this, you don't want that shared. And on pricing, the Geocode.io is very affordable. Chances are you're not even going to have to spend any money. Right now, they provide 2,500 address lookups a day. For free. So if you have a list, and it's like 50 cents for every 1,000 after that. So chances are you're not really going to spend anything, but that's what you need. So grab that key, come down here to supplemental details, and then paste that in there, and it'll save this on your account. And then you hit start fixing. And that was a small list, and as you can see, it's already done, which is pretty cool. Now I'm just going to open it up. And remember, this was just one column of addresses. And now we've got all this pretty crazy data. It'll preserve all of the data that was in the list originally. So column A is still here. But everything where the column has AF there, that's been appended by AddressFixer Mark II. So you have the full address. You might need that. The street number. Don't know who would need that, but it's there. The street level. So if you want to filter out certain streets or something, you could do that. The street address, as you would use for mailing. The street, city, state, zip. The county, the country, latitude and longitude details. The source, and this is usually going to be the county, the city, or one of the Census Bureau data sets. The accuracy rating, it's going to be between 0 and 1. It's sort of an accuracy value. And then the accuracy type, ideally they're going to be either rooftop or range interpolation, but you might see some other stuff here. And then the free form. And so the free form is basically what AddressFixer used to run the search. So if these look wrong and you have low hit rate, maybe the configuration that you gave it was not quite right. But if they look generally like the address you're going for, then that's a good sign. So that's it. You can then take this and use this to pull out information from addresses that you previously didn't have if you had broken or messed up information. I'm just going to go through one more example on a spreadsheet that has a little bit more data. Just to show what that would be like. So I'm just going to refresh my page here. I'm going to add a list, and then I'm going to use this one. This has the street, it has the state and the city, but it doesn't have the zip code. But I need that. So I'm just going to assign the columns that I have. I have the address, the city, and the state. And it's the same list as last time. And since I have this data, I do not need to provide supplemental details. This is enough information for the program to work with. And I hit start fixing. And again, it's going to geocode each of these addresses and then finish it. And this is going to be basically exactly the same as the list I just showed you. So that's it. AddressFixer Mark II is very powerful, and it can solve a huge variety of address-related issues that you may have. Use it wisely, and remember that it uses your API key with Geocode.io, so that if you run a list of 100,000, expect kind of a bill for that. But for most lists of normal size, you're probably not even going to hit your daily free limit. So keep in mind there is a cost there, but it's very low. So if you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to me. My contact details are going to be on the About This Tool and How to Use It page. Thank you.